Jason the Thunder suggests you own every one of these movies, just like Friday the 13th. Even Jason Goes to Hell. Buy them. Put them in your collection. Fuck it. Anyway, so I'm going to go over some ways that you can watch the Halloween series and a chronological order. So you have what is the John Carpenter Halloween movies. So you'd have the 78 version, then you'd have the 81 version, and you can throw in, if you want to, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Just a nice little 3 back-to-back if you wanted to. Even though 3 has nothing to do with the first two, but it's just, you can throw it in there.
Just to clarify, they call that the John Carpenter because that's the 3 that he was personally involved with.
Right. Now we have the Loomis timeline, Dr. Loomis timeline. So this is how this would go in order if you want to watch them in this order. So you would go 78, you would go 81, then you would go Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, then you would go Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, then you would go Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, and that would be your Dr. Loomis timeline.
Yep, those were all the original Dr. Loomis, played by the late great Donald Pleasence.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be my favorite timeline personally, because I mean Loomis is, other than Michael, is my favorite character. It's not Laurie, it's Loomis. Anyway, now we have the Judith Myers timeline. All right, so I don't know why they would call it the Judith Myers timeline, but I think it means like Laurie's timeline, because it goes like this, and you'll understand in a second. It goes 78, then you got Halloween 2, 81, then you go Halloween 20 from 1998, H2O,
Resurrection.
Then you have Resurrection.
Yeah, that's weird that I think that's a misprint. That's Laurie Strode's storyline right there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I didn't understand, but that's what they're calling it. So we'll leave that one if you want to watch it like that. So you have the Rob Zombie rebooted timeline, and which would be 2007 and 2009, which is Halloween and Halloween 2.
Yep, back to back, boom, boom.
Yeah. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now we have the Bum House. Oh my God, I've got
Blumhouse.
I've got a new name for the Bum. Okay, Blumhouse has their little timeline, and it goes like this. So you would go Halloween 78, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends.
Yep.
Now, this is what I did, because I didn't like the other the Judith Myers timeline, which I thought was weird. So I made the Jamie Lee Curtis Halloween timeline. I know we just talked about it, but this is the Jamie Lee Curtis timeline. So you'd go 78, Halloween 2, 81, the H2O from 98, Resurrection 2002, Halloween 2018, then you would go Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends. And that's all your movies based off of Jamie Lee Curtis's character.
Right. And not necessarily the same timeline, but if you want to watch all Jamie Lee Curtis, that's the way to go.
Yes. Those are the movies. If you're a Jamie Lee Curtis fan, you're just, I guess, happen to listen to this podcast this far, and you want to see Jamie Lee Curtis, those are the movies with Jamie Lee Curtis in them. You've got so many places you can watch these movies. Majority is...
I want to throw in a timeline.
Yeah, if you got one, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to throw in a timeline called the Jamie Lloyd timeline.
Okay, go ahead.
Which is the first two played by Danielle Harris, which is Halloween 4 and 5. And even though Danielle Harris didn't play in 6, the character of Jamie is still in it. So the character of Jamie Lloyd would go Halloween 4, 5, and 6. I think that would be interesting storyline, and I know a lot of people absolutely adore Halloween 4, and they were so ready for Michael to come back after they didn't get him in part 3. So
Yeah.
and 4 is kind of a beloved one as well. So that's another timeline that you can throw in as well. But go ahead, tell them where you could. I mean, you can see these sequels so many places.
Yeah, it's so many. Honestly, I would just suggest going to your search engine and then typing them in.
And your best bet is to, just kind of own them, like we said before. It's I know it's easy to sit on your bed with your feet up to just push a button, but if you got a Blu-ray player, you got a DVD. I don't think it's not going to be harder on you just to get up, find them, put them in, pop them in.
Right.
Some of you might even prefer it that way, and have we still have a VCR. We got the movies up here. Sometimes we'll sneak down to the basement and watch them. I know my son has watched. He just watched the 3 fucking Ninjas the other week on VHS.
We are avid VHS collectors. But yeah, I still like a good physical media. But if you want to go to Vudu and buy them, I think they've got some sales on certain ones. I personally went ahead and bought the digital ones because sometimes I don't feel like popping in physical media, which is okay. It's cool. But for those lazy days, it's for those circumstances. So Vudu's the best route. I could probably tell you to go with that. As always, I like talking about Halloween any chance we get because it is my favorite of the franchise. Well, not franchise, but of the horror movies. Michael is my favorite killer. Spoiler. But yeah, for anyone that has been following these 31 days, we just want to say thank you. Personally, it's been quite the challenge. I never thought we would do 31 podcasts in 31 days, and it has been challenging, but it's been fun too. So,
well, hopefully we gave you guys some movies that you've heard us talk about, some movies you haven't heard us talk about that we talked about for the first time. I hope that we have given you a good list of movies that you can say, absolutely, that's definitely a movie that I would watch, in October to celebrate the 31 days of Halloween.
Yeah.
Most of these movies we watch all year long anyway, so we wanted
Very
to get
true.
We're so fucking
invested.
We're so invested on horror movies. But we really wanted to get a good list together to specifically celebrate Halloween. And from day 1 all the way to day 31, I think we've done a pretty good job, and we're happy with what we brought to you, especially, ending it with Halloween, the ultimate in our minds. And
I don't know if we're going to do this next year.
Well,
we might make this a yearly thing.
We would have to come up with a whole new list, which would be pretty
challenging.
We'd have to go back to this list and mark off everything eligible next year wouldn't be. Everything on it this year wouldn't be eligible next year because we would want a brand new list, and that might be a challenge, but that's okay. Whatever.
Challenges are widely accepted. But yeah, if you're still listening at this point, if you get a chance, check out TeePublic. We have some merchandise on there. We have quite a couple designs. I'm going to upload a couple more probably at the beginning of the year, take down a couple. But we're in the process of getting new stickers. I'm trying to figure out new merchandise, like where to get t-shirts and hoodies made, and hopefully towards next year we'll probably try to get our name out there more, with the booth and everything like that. And
don't forget, not only does this year celebrate the 45th anniversary of Halloween, but we're in October, which is our 1-year anniversary as well.
Yeah, if you're listening to this now, it's past at this point, but
we'll just say the month of October.
Yeah, which hopefully you listen to our 1 year anniversary podcast, and we're talking about it now, and it's hard to believe that a year's like flown by so quick. It's time consuming and tedious doing this sometimes, but me and Todd can look back and, I'm pretty proud of this podcast, honestly.
Yeah, we wouldn't do it if we looked at it as a job.
Yeah.
This is something fun. We talk about these movies and shit like this all the time anyway, so why not put it in a podcast to where you guys can get in on the conversation? And we know that it's cool when our friends come up to us and say, I was listening to this and I agree with this and blah, blah, blah. How about this, blah, blah, blah. It's not many of them, but the ones that do it, they know what's up, and they're, for life.
Yeah, it's they're definitely loved and appreciated, and it means a lot to us. But as always, it has been real. It has been fun. It has been real fun. I'm JT Ripper.
And I'm Todd of Thunder saying toodaloo.
And as always, stay spooky.